Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. I am your host, Dr. Joretta Carey, welcoming you all aboard as we move full steam ahead. My guest for today is 10 years old. He is a sixth grade student who is homeschooled. Like most boys his age, he enjoys sports, with his favorite football team being the Miami Dolphins and his favorite basketball player being Buddy Hield. He also enjoys playing Little League with the Lions. Some of his favorite foods include tacos, nachos, pizza, and sushi, and he's also a fruit and veggie lover. As a member of his local library, he enjoys reading series such as Captain Underpants, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, as well as El Grey Chicks. His favorite subject in school is science. He's always asking how, what, when, where, how. And I know this because I'm his mom. Please welcome to the show my son, Joretta Carey.
Good day, Mommy. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Jordan. I'm so glad that you can join me. I know you have been wanting to do this since RBNTV started, right? And so here's your chance. Okay? So, today we will be talking about critical thinking. This is such an important topic for us to explore as parents. And so today I hope that I can share with you some very helpful tips and information on how you can assist your child in developing and enhancing critical thinking skills. So we know as a result of the coronavirus, the whole school experience, the whole learning experience has been drastically changed. And we have lots of parents who have actually resorted to homeschooling for the first time. We have more parents who are involved with assisting their children in virtual learning, as of course they're still occupying the home environment to do so. And so it is important that parents play a critical role in the education of their child, and critical thinking is no exception. So this is the topic of interest that we want to explore today. So Jordy, can you tell us a little bit about what critical thinking is?
Critical thinking is analyzing and assessing ideas and thinking out of the box. So you can think more openly and widely to think out of the box.
Okay, great. So there are some tools that we can actually use to assist us in facilitating our child in this subject area. Now, as a homeschool mom, this is one of the resources that we commonly use. It's called Snapshots, and it's a compilation of about 40 different cards. They're called critical thinking photo cards. And at the front of each card is a picture, and at the back are a series of questions relative to the picture. Okay, and this is something that I use on a pretty consistent basis in the homeschooling journey. Now, questions are one way to get your child to think outside of the box. And this isn't to be done in an interrogative way or a way that is going to cause the child to be afraid to speak. The objective is to get them speaking and to get open dialogue going. So you want to ask them some open-ended questions, but say, for example, when we use these cards, here we have one of the cards, which is a little girl swimming. So on the back of the card, there are about 4 questions, okay? So I am going to ask Jordan here some of these questions, and you'll see just how it causes him to think deeper. Okay, so the first question at the back here says, how was this picture taken?
The picture was taken underwater by a camera, a waterproof camera, because normal cameras that are not waterproof would get damaged.
Okay, great. So that's a great observation that you made there, Jordan. So what do you know about the girl simply by looking at this picture?
She is swimming. She is swimming through a hoop. She is wearing goggles, and she is happy swimming joyfully.
Okay. The third question on the card says, write or tell about different ways you can have fun in a swimming pool. So in this instance, you can tell me about some of the ways you can have fun in a swimming pool.
You can play Marco Polo. You can do swimming competitions. You can dive in the pool, and it's so much ways you can have fun.
Okay, great. Now, another question here says, what do you think happened after this picture was taken?
After the picture was taken, I think she went back to swimming because she probably just set up in that spot for the picture. So I think after that she went swimming again.
Okay, great. So there you have it, parents. This is one resource that can be used to encourage your children to think critically. After all, it is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay, and it also is fun for the children to see you answering the questions as well. So parents, mom and dad, you can also have your child show you the picture and they can get an appreciation for how you think. And if you have more than one child at home, it makes it even all the more interesting because children would then have an opportunity to see, observe, and also appreciate the various perspectives that other people may have simply by looking at the same thing. Okay, and that is one of the key elements when it comes to STEM or STEAM based learning. So that is just one resource there. Now, if you don't have resources such as the snapshot cards that we just showed you, it's simply pictures, like we said before. So if your family is happening to watch a movie, or if you have a favorite movie already, you can take selected scenes from that movie and ask your child some questions about the movie. Okay, and you can also have your child ask you some questions about the movie and understand each other's various perspectives. All right. So the main point is once we ask questions, this will lead to answers and, of course, solutions. Now, if we pause and talk about science for a while. Earlier, I shared that Jordan, he is a science lover, right? Kids are curious and boys, they're always touching and getting into things. So one thing as parents that you want to encourage is your child to be able to explore their creativity and curiosity safely. And you want to have the right tools and environment to facilitate that effectively. All right. I'm sure many of you can attest to your remote control and other household gadgets being taken apart, right? And when you ask the child, well, oh, why did you do that? Oh, I just wanted to see what was inside, etc. And I mean, yes, it can really do something to us, right? that they don't appear to see the value in these various gadgets, but actually they do see value in it. They are trying to express their creative side, and they just want to really know how things work, why it's able to do what it does, etc. All right, so there are many ways that we can encourage our children to do those things while still preserving our household electronics. And so encouraging children to explore is what we want to focus on in the subject of science now. Okay, because science is really about investigating. And science is the study of the world around us and also us. Okay, so science is pretty much everywhere. There are always opportunities to integrate science into learning. So take, for example, you may have a child who says, okay, you know what, I really don't like science. And I don't think this is necessarily true once the correct approach is given. Okay? And I can say this because most children, they want to be hands-on in their learning experiences. And the subject of science allows them to do just that. In fact, STEAM in and of itself is about doing things and finding out and investigating. So it's up to us as parents to bring the lessons alive for our children. So say, for example, your child may be engaged in a unit on plants at school. If you have plants growing around the home, this is the time now to take it to the next level and go beyond what the teacher may be doing in the formal classroom environment. Okay, it allows for the child to see how science is definitely all around them. So what you can do, if you happen to be a gardener, for instance, you can involve them in the planting process. Let them dig in the dirt, plant seeds, water crops. You can even give them responsibility for doing that type of thing. Okay, you can have them watch videos related to what they may be studying as well, so that they can see things further set in motion. When it comes to art, they can also use the plants to do art experiments and also create art. For example, you have leaf projects, leaf coloring, right? I'm sure that most of us have done that at some point in time during early childhood, right? And then you also have experiments that you can do using the chlorophyll in the leaf. And these are quite easy to find online, and it doesn't really cost much, except, of course, your time and your interests. Okay? You can also find your everyday materials that you're using. For example, we have a pencil here. And of course, we know that the pencil came from a tree. Okay, it came from a tree. And interestingly enough, even though the pencil came from a tree, we use the pencil to write on paper, which is essentially the same source. All right, so you can also have your child explore other products that might have been derived from a tree as well. And of course, we know that those products are very extensive, right? So like, what are some other things that we get from plants?
We get food from plants too. Like in Canada, the maple tree produce syrup. You have an apple tree, orange tree. So whenever you plant a seed, it grows into something.
Okay, right. And a lot of the stuff that we get, the packaging is also coming from plants. In a lot of households, we also use paper plates, paper cups. So it's good for children to see the variety that they can get from one particular source, okay? And it gets them thinking. And you can go down many different avenues to further investigate that subject matter. Okay, so those are just some of the ways. So, Jordan, can you share with us a bit about how you explored science at the beach?
When I was at the beach in the Seaside Science Club for Bright Minds, we made an erupting volcano with baking soda, vinegar, and water. We packed up a lot of sand, like a hill, and we stick a bottle in it and took it out so it would be a hole. So when we put the vinegar, baking soda, and water in the hole, it erupted.
Okay. And then in that same day, there were some other activities such as making sand slime, right? Most kids like slime, and there are tons of different slime recipes out there using many different products. And children, they can, it's pretty much something they can do that they never get tired of. Okay, so even with slime making, there are so many different avenues that it can be taken. There are so many different perspectives that can be taken into account in terms of the reactions that cause the slime, okay? And getting back to science being within us. Kids this age are really interested in what's going on with their bodies. And so say, for example, if you're learning about digestion, you can ask them about what it takes for something to be digested. You can also make a simulation of the stomach by using acid in a Ziploc bag, putting small portions of food, and then they can actually see what goes on in the digestive process. Okay, so the main key point here is that we want the learning experience to come alive. Okay, so far, get them to ask questions, get them to answer questions, and also make the learning experience come alive. All right, so let's move on to technology. Technology is really about how we can use items to do things in a more effective way and even a more efficient way. And so learning is no exception. When it comes to technology, we know that children these days, they readily embrace technology. And so it's something that we should use to their advantage. And especially when if you're a parent that wants to correlate technology into what your child may be learning formally, a good approach is using it for the subjects that they don't necessarily like. Yes, the ones that they don't necessarily like. Okay, because kids, they love technology, but if you say, well, hey, you don't like math, so if you're going to do math, I'm going to allow you to use the computer or do a game. Okay, you have your sites such as multiplication.com and so many others that facilitate kids in learning math. Also, you can take pretty much any given subject and encourage kids to keep a video journal. Okay, so say for example, if I need to learn some Spanish, every day I can practice saying certain words in Spanish and recording myself. And then I can share that with my family or a small circle of friends. And that in and of itself would encourage children to pick up those subjects quicker and develop a keener interest in the subject. Okay, so one of the websites that we use a lot at homeschool is called code.org. Code.org. Yes, code.org. So tell us a little bit about code.org.
Code.org is a website computer program where you can program characters and the computer to do their different type of moves, and you can even let them speak. So I really think it's a unique website, and it helps you to boost your creativity.
Okay, awesome. So there you have it, parentscode.org. Okay, and all it takes is a quick Google search. There are lots of free and paid resources out there, so it's not something that you have to necessarily worry your head about too much. All right, so let's move on to engineering. Engineering is about finding a solution to a problem and coming up with a design for solutions to those problems. Okay, and engineering doesn't stand alone, but we actually use science, technology, and math to do engineering. Okay, now when you think about engineering, it doesn't necessarily have to be some high tech or very intrinsic thing going on. Okay, because like we said, it's all about designing and building. So here we have behind us some of the most basic toys, right? You have your Lego and blocks, and then we also have some of these toys, which are branded as STEM toys. This is from Imaginarium, and it is comprised of many different building pieces that parents and kids alike can use to construct various objects. Okay, so you have your wheels, you have some flat pieces, you have various different shapes going on. And so, of course, something like this can be used because of the sizes of the pieces from kids as young as about 2 or 3 years old. All right. And there are many different approaches that you can take when it comes to using these types of products. You can have a designated time, especially with your younger kids, where you just allow them to engage in free creative play. So that means you set out the blocks in a safe area and just allow them to have fun to their heart's content. Now, how do we make this process meaningful? At the end of the designated period, you can ask the child about what they built or why did they decide to build it, okay? And so all of that would help to develop their critical thinking skills. For older children, you may want to allow them to use these. Yes, even though Jordan is 10 years old, he still enjoys playing with these with his 2-year-old sister. But of course, you know, there are some smaller pieces in the Lego line, as well as you have stuff like magnetic beads. You can also use a lot of products such as tissue paper rolls, paper clips, toothpicks, popsicle sticks, okay? Anything that can actually create something. And you can design challenge cards for your kids and give them a scenario. For example, you can ask them to build a bridge with certain dimensions, and then you give them limited products and see how they figure it out, okay? And this can be a rather fun activity, especially when they can collaborate with other children as well to get the job done, right?
Yes.
Can you remember the time when you guys built that toothpick bridge?
Yes.
In camp?
Yes.
All right. So what were some of the challenges there?
some of the challenges was when you put it together, it is so bumpy that whenever you put a toy car on it, it just slides off the bridge. So I think it was very challenging to do. So
Okay, so when you had that particular challenge, it caused you to put your heads together again and try and come up with a solution to make the bridge work, right?
yes.
Yes, and so that is what we really want to encourage as parents. The power of collaborative play, it actually evolves to collaborative work. And this is how we get those great ideas rolling out so that we have even more products that are engineered to enhance our future for the better. All right, so we'll move on to the category of art. Art. So art is about imagination again, okay? And in art, we can also create new things. Now, there are different types of art. Of course, we have the performing arts.
Festival.
Right, so we have performing arts where you can engage in drama or dance. Then we have our visual arts where we can create things that are appealing to look at, right? Depending on your level of art appreciation. So can you share with us a bit about your learning experience with art?
A learning experience that I had with art was with Ari Chung. He teaches art and we learned it on Zoom. He has a lot of people came in to teach us different stuff also. They taught us how to write a song and how to sing and different stuff. We learned how to create a paper bird. So I really think it boosted my creativity.
Great. So Ari Chung, he's actually involved with children's books, and he often hosts virtual art camps for kids. Okay, and so Jordan was able to experience that over the summer, and there were children actually from all around the world, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so as far as the visual arts, what were some of the different things that you now are interested in since you did that camp?
Since I did that camp, I was more interested in painting and drawing, and I felt like I got a lot better. And I love to write stories too. I think it helped me just to boost that creativity that was inside me to make me understand how I love to write and draw and paint.
Awesome. And we can all appreciate, even as adults, right? Like when we visit an art gallery or a place that has pieces of art on display, each person who is viewing the piece will have a different interpretation of that piece. And so this also comes back to critical thinking. It's important for us as parents to get our children involved in art appreciation. And so I would encourage you to have your children visit local art exhibitions. And of course, we know that various artists have their own different types, their own different styles of doing art. And so this is a great way for children to enhance their critical thinking skills. So you have your graffiti, you can have your art sculptures, right? You have painting, pottery. It's pretty much limitless. So this is a great thing that we can expose our kids to. And of course, once we identify what interests them the most, we can also supply them with art supplies, right? So
Such as glue, colored pencils, construction paper, and so on.
great. Awesome. And so there, of course, we know that there's no age limit on that, right? Because I still even enjoy coloring or painting here and there. Great. And so finally, let's look at math. Math. Yes, I see that face, right? What does that mean? Well, math happens to be Jordan's least favorite subject. Let's just put it like that. That's his least favorite subject. It's not that he isn't good at it, but he doesn't really like math, to be quite honest. Okay, but if children can find usefulness and practicality in math, I think that they can gain a greater appreciation for it. And so, as parents, one way that we can enhance that is by making math come alive for children. Okay, some children see it as okay, I don't really need this. How am I going to apply this? What's the sense in learning it? But we can use everyday opportunities such as baking. Let the child get in the kitchen and do the measuring, right? Because I'm sure they want to eat the cake and the cookies and the bread and what's not. So let them see the usefulness there. When you go to the grocery store, there are numbers everywhere, right? They can weigh the produce properly on the scale. That's one thing that children can do in the grocery store. You can also have them come into the store with a calculator and tally up the bill as you're going along. If you have some time, even if you're not really shopping for certain items, you can target certain items that your kid likes and have them estimate the price, what they think a particular item may cost, and stuff like that. At the checkout, you can allow them to pay the bill. And even when you go and pay your other bills, such as the utility bills, you can also have them involved that way. And of course, opening a bank account, right? Because we know that the kids these days, they like money. All right. Now for Jordan, as part of our homeschool math curriculum, we've integrated Adventure Academy. And this is one way that I get him to enjoy math. So can you share a little bit about some of the things you're able to do with that Adventure Academy?
With Adventure Academy, it is very unique because it's a virtual world where you can create your own avatar. You can go to the science wing, math wing, or library, and wherever you go, they have a marketplace where you can even go and, as you said, go in shops and tally up what you find. So I think it's really unique, and also you have children from all over the world who is on it, and you can interact with them and you can discover new adventures. That's why it's called Adventure Academy.
Great. And even like for the younger kids, like math starts all the way in preschool, right? So shapes. If you're doing circles, you can have your child go around the home or even in the community and identify things that are circular in nature, whether it be the face of a clock, the fan, okay, cookies. Make it a point to show them how math is pretty much everywhere. Okay. So I think that may do it for our time today, but I would really love to have you back here, Jordan, so that we can actually do some experiments, right? That's the thing that a lot of kids really love about learning, getting in there and doing, right, and getting in there and doing, right? Because what you hear, you tend to forget. What I see, I remember, but what I do, I understand. And that is from Zunzi. Well, folks, that does it for our show today. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jordan. Great. So I hope to have you back, and this time we'll be doing some experiments. Be sure to follow RBNTV Studios on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you're sure not to miss any of our shows. What I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. What I do, I understand. Keep this in mind as you move full steam ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're watching